The average person is said to spend 15 minutes in the bathroom. Why not take advantage of that time and learn something new? Presenting the 15-minute podcast on weird facts, crazy details, and funny particulars that you'll be able to enjoy while you're taking a on your free time. Welcome to The Shit with Sam Butler. Welcome to another episode of The Shit Podcast. I have a very special guest, a good friend of ours. He was just with me on the Spanish episode. We're doing the English episode now. And to kind of keep with the theme of the Spanish episode, we're actually going to do an episode that's dedicated strictly to music weird facts. And so thank you for joining me again. My guest is Luis Cortés. Luis, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey,
again.
Yeah. But thank you for coming to the studios. We mentioned it in the other episode. We've tried to make this happen, but due to scheduling conflicts, we weren't able to pull it off. But luckily, we are able to do it today. We're here. So you're a musician. We talked about that. You're in a band. You play rock. You compose music. You do music videos.
Yeah, music production in general.
So I met you when I first started working here with a late night, and it's awesome, dude. So thank you for being here. I feel privileged to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
With that, let's get kicked off. I mean, we have 15 minutes to talk about a lot of different things. The last episode was talking about the Beatles, and we talked about the fifth Beatle.
Yep.
Right? Which was Billy Preston, in our opinion.
Which was not Yoko Ono.
It was not Yoko Ono. We agreed on that, although there's some dispute from our producer. No, I think Billy Preston, he made a good point after the episode. Billy Preston actually was credited as a writer on one of the songs where others were not. So that kind of gives him a little edge towards being the fifth Beatle. With that being said, we're not even talking about him being the Black Beatle. Yeah. But with that being said, the Beatles. We're going to kick this off with the Beatles again. Turns out that Paul McCartney finally admitted in an interview in 2018 that none of them knew how to write music or read music.
That? Oh, read and write, yeah.
Read and write music, yeah.
I kind of don't.
You kind of don't?
Either.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I know my way around but read? No, I can't.
And I think I mean that's interesting to me because I was in a band, the school band when I was in 6th grade, and they taught us how to read music and the beats per measure and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But I forgot all that stuff. Like I couldn't do it to save my life right now. So I understand from an artistic point of view how that's irrelevant in actuality.
Yeah. I, for example, I started in music, learning how to play the piano and the electric piano, and I know very little or basic read music, so it's not a surprise. Yeah,
would you say that a lot of it? Because I'm not very musical at all. I think that I always fantasized about being a good singer, and I can't sing. At all, period.
Yeah, you don't need to read or write music to become a good singer.
A good singer, or a good musician.
Or a good performer.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps. It helps. It definitely helps. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. And so I mean, that's very interesting because of the level of fame that those guys achieved.
Oh, of course. They're incredibly talented.
Yeah. The largest concert ever. Do you know who had that concert?
Is it a pop star or is it a rock star?
Rock. I would say he's a classic rock star at this point.
Classic rock star. Band?
Possibly, but I think he's a solo artist.
Ooh, that's hard.
All right, I'll let you off the hook. 1993, Rod Stewart's New Year's Eve concert in Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, was a free concert, and it had 4.2 million people that came to watch him.
When was this?
Perform 1993. Pre-COVID. That's way pre-COVID. Well, yeah, it's about 30 years before COVID.
Wow. I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah,
I thought it was Metallica or Guns N' Roses back in the day when they were super famous.
Well, Garth Brooks did that that concert in New York City,
Uh-huh.
and it was in Central Park, and it was a free concert. And people said it would never work because he was a country singer, but he had like 500,000 people.
Wow.
And when I read this, I was like, wow, 4.2 million? That is like insane. You know, that's bigger than El Paso and Juarez combined.
I didn't know that Brazilians were such fans of.
Yeah, but that's amazing. 4.2. So he's on the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest free concert.
It's the most popular man in Brazil.
Yeah. At least in Rio de Janeiro. Yeah. This I thought was interesting, but it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Okay? Finland is the home of the most metal bands.
Yes.
You know, it says it has 53.5 metal bands per 100,000 people.
Why is that? I mean, I knew that fact already, but I don't know why that is.
I think and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I think the rest of their life and existence is so vanilla, you know, that this is.
I kind of get it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, think about it. How cold is it in Finland?
Yeah, very cold.
How? I mean, they're stuck in their house for how many months of the year? You know.
Yeah.
And so they're not alone though. The other Nordic nations, Sweden, Norway, Iceland. They're like right there.
They're up there too?
They're up there too.
Wow, I didn't know that. I just thought, okay, Finland.
Yeah. Also, they're Vikings.
Well,
right.
Well, and so that makes a lot of fucking sense,
right? So if you're a Viking, what do you listen to? You know, like Frank Sinatra? No, you know.
Like what type of music did Vikings hear? I mean,
yeah, I mean, but when you think of a Viking, you think of a barbarian, Celtic, you know.
Yeah,
you think
of course.
You think of all these. You have all these images of the Vikings, which they don't like being called Vikings. That's what everybody else calls them. They're Norsemen, right? When you think of the Norsemen, you go, yeah, they're metal, you know. But they're the place with the most metal bands, 53.5.
Imagine when they were rating the villages and stuff.
Yeah.
What type of metal music they do with the old timey instruments?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to envision a Viking and you go, okay, I get it.
No,
right?
Yeah, I totally get it.
I get it. But I think the rest of their life is very, like, I think at this point in time, I mean, they have legalized weed in Holland, and they have, you know, they were the first guys to legalize drugs on a general scale. So you know that they have like a very socialistic type society. So I think that's how they get to cut loose a little bit. You know, they're all metal. There's so many awesome facts. How many pieces of wood does it take to make a violin? Yeah, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but it turns out that it takes 70 individual pieces of wood. 70.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're talking about
different kinds of woods, or
different.
The same type of wood in 70 pieces.
No, I don't. I think that they're referring to 70 different types of wood, because if not, that'd be like one piece of wood with 70 variety. It was 70 splinters.
Yeah.
But they're talking about, it says, most violins have a hollow wooden body and they're mostly glued together. But the instruments from the golden age of violin making, especially those made by Stradivari, you know, used about 70 different pieces of wood.
Wow. That's why they're so expensive.
They're so expensive. Yeah, I don't think that all of them necessarily, but they're talking about the expensive ones. You know, I could see how it would take gluing a lot of pieces to get the curves and everything.
Yeah, I figure.
Prince. Are you a fan of Prince?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a very interesting fact. I mean, there's so much to talk about Prince. We could do our own episode with Prince.
I only know the facts that came in the Chappelle show.
He liked hotcakes and basketball. Yeah. He played 27 instruments on his debut album.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's some instruments here that I'm going like, are those really instruments? But I guess they are. The electric guitar, acoustic guitar, bass, synth, singing bass, fuzz bass, or bass.
Yeah.
Electric piano, acoustic piano, mini moog, poly moog, ARP string ensemble, ARP pro soloist, Oberheim.
I mean, they're listing all the instruments.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're like, it's the keyboards.
Yeah. Oh, it's all part of the keyboard.
Yeah,
okay.
They're just listing.
So I don't know. Is that really? I mean, is it one instrument with 27 functions?
I mean they're different instruments, but it's the keyboards.
Yeah. You had wind chimes. Is that part of it? Wood blocks. Wood blocks, brush trap, tree bell, hand claps, finger snaps, and he was said to have played all of them for his album.
I mean, that list isn't necessary. You just, but I mean, being Prince.
I think that the writer was looking for an opportunity to create a fact. You know? This is one of the facts that I thought was like pretty outrageous. You're familiar with the Titanic.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world, I think, is familiar with the Titanic. And I think everybody's familiar with the scene with the musicians playing on deck to keep everybody calm while the ship was sinking.
And they sank with the ship.
Right?
Supposedly.
Well, they say they did. It was led by an 8-member band by Wallace Hartley, and they assembled in the first class lounge to play in an effort to keep everyone calm. Okay. That really happened. But the shit fact is that the London Symphony Orchestra had booked travel on the Titanic's maiden voyage. The whole symphony orchestra was going to travel on the Titanic.
Okay.
Last minute, they changed their travel plans and booked on another ship.
Okay.
So it was a very close call. They could have lost the whole London Symphony Orchestra on that ship.
Wow.
This to me, I thought was like, whoa, very, very, very interesting fact. The British Navy.
Okay.
According to different reports, British naval officers play Britney Spears songs to scare away Somali pirates. Yeah. They play her songs, Oops, I Did It Again, and Baby One More Time, which irritates the pirates because they hate the Western culture so much. So when pirates are approaching ships, they'll actually blare that music out, and that discourages them from coming onto the ships.
Wow.
So that was pretty, I don't know, that sounds a little far-fetched, but hey, I get it. I mean, it is like noise pollution, to a certain degree. It says the rationale of playing these songs is because supposedly Somali pirates have a strong dislike for Western culture and music, and probably women too.
That's a very strong commitment to
to hate. Yeah. So that's a weird fact, and I'm going to this one. I think was very interesting. A study in 2001 by 2 psychologists of the University of Leicester, which is in England, suggests that cows that listen to slow, soothing songs like "Everybody Hurts" by REM and Simon and Garfunkel, "Bridge Over Troubled Water," produce 3% more milk in a control group.
3%. Well,
so
that's believable.
It's believable, right? So if you romance the cows, you can find yourself getting more milk out of them. Actually, they said that they tried the same experiment with rap and techno music, in which it had like no increase in milk production. So soothing music can contribute.
So the Nordic cows are
not
producing 3% more milk.
Yeah, they said it had to do with the stress level of the cows, and so by having this kind of music, soothing, it really relaxed the cows.
Imagine Mexican cows listening to El Sonidito, like all day long.
They don't produce more milk.
They would produce 40% less milk.
Yeah, they don't produce more milk. They produce the same amount, but it comes out tasting like tajin.
Chile.
Yeah. And then this is the royal flush, the main fact. You know, that's what I'm going to call it from now on. The very last fact is called the royal flush. And thanks, Phil. A friend of mine gave me that tip. He goes, call it the royal flush. So I'm calling it the royal flush. In 1893, well, before I get into the date, we're going to talk about the Happy Birthday song.
Okay.
Okay. It was originated in 1893 by the Hill Sisters. 1893. Yeah. They needed a song for kindergarten classes to sing on birthdays. So Happy Birthday is the most profitable song of all time.
Where was this? In
1893 in
U.S. or?
I believe it's in the U.S. I didn't check that fact.
Right.
It says the ownership changed hands a few times over the past 100 years, but music holding company Warner Chappell, right? Is it Chappell or it's not Chappell? It's Chappell.
No, Chappell.
Warner Chappell bought the rights for $15 million in 1990 and have held them since. Today, the song brings in $2 million a year in royalties, which comes to $5,000 per day.
Wow.
Right? Now, if you were to use that song on a TV show, it would cost you $25,000. Right? And that is a weird fact in music. The most profitable song in history, Happy Birthday.
All right. Wow.
Right? That's crazy. So with that being said, thank you guys for joining us on this episode of The Shit. Luis, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks again.
This was a lot of
me.
fun. Too bad we're out of time, but there's a bunch more facts, and hopefully you can come back and we can talk about
whenever you
more
want
stuff.
to. Yeah,
but
of course.
Thank you. And how can people find you on your social media?
I'm on all streaming platforms as Luis Cortés Cervantes, and on all social media as Luis Cortés Cervantes.
Cool.
Find me there.
Follow him, find him, watch his videos. They're awesome. And with that being said, you can find us at Tu Amigo Sam. That's on all social media, as well as YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Tu Amigo Sam. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Leave your comments if you have some weird facts, if you have some weird memes that have to do with the episode, please leave them. We appreciate it. We want to shout out to the Facebook group, Los Cagadienses. Thank you guys for all the memes and all the interaction that you have with us. And of course, you can find us on all of the streaming platforms for podcasts as Sta Cagado Podcast. And of course, it's the English version of the same podcast we do in Spanish. With that being said, that wraps us up. Thank you one more time, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.